Welcome to the Dixie Doggers podcast. We're here to share knowledge and heritage. We hope y'all enjoy. For the best cut gear in the business, get with Dave Williams at Southern Cross Cut Gear. www.hogdoggear.com.
If you're buying or selling land, farms, or hunting property, these folks know land. Phil Wilson with UC Hunting Properties, 678-791-3483.
777 Kennels, Advanced K9 Nutrition. Vertex K9 Essentials, Advanced K9 Nutrition, beneficial to all breeds. You can contact them at 979-206-3050.
All right, guys, we're back at you with another clip from Don't Run with Lite Hounds. We got Mr. Gus Underwood. He runs some bear hounds, and he's going to tell you all about it. Gus, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about where you're from and what you do, brother.
Well, I'm Gus Underwood. I'm in middle of nowhere, Virginia, Floyd County, and I farm a little bit. I mechanic a little bit, and I run some bear dogs.
Right on. So, tell us how old you are, and tell us how long you've been messing with dogs.
I'm 30 years old. Let's see. I guess I've had my own hounds probably 15 years or so. I've been around them most of my life, but probably 14 years I've had my own stuff.
So did your dad raise you on them, or uncle, or grandpa, or anything like that?
None of the above. No.
Okay.
My dad always told me that a farmer didn't have time for hounds, and when I was a kid, I mean, we had some healers and stuff around the house. He likes a working dog, but he always told me that we didn't have time for hounds, and he wasn't going to see one brought on a chain. So I didn't have my own until I was old enough to drive and kind of start calling my own shots.
So who was your inspiration?
Man, my grandparents' neighbor.
Okay.
I used to ride the school bus with my grandma. She drove the school bus, and I'd ride home with her because both my parents worked, and they'd pick me up from there. But every morning, every evening when I was going to her house, her neighbor had these dogs tied out, and I thought, man, I don't know what it is about those things, but they look cool, and I got to have some of them. And I guess fast forward 15, 18 years or something like that, and right now I'm hunting a bloodline that he kind of helped start. But yeah, nobody in my family really fooled with it, and I'm not sure where I went so wrong to be this crazy and go head over heels into it, but here we are.
So were the neighbors running this? You said who started you with the bloodline? Was it the neighbors or the grandma? What did you say?
It was my grandparents' neighbor, and he's closing on 80 now.
Yeah.
Him and two other elder gentlemen there, they hunted hard, they culled harder, and they were pretty picky about the type of hound that they kept at their house. And I'm just kind of reaping the rewards here because I'm still hunting what they built. But
yeah, it was the right place and the right time.
Yeah, it's definitely. I've been very fortunate to kind of grow up where I did, know some of the people I do, and then kind of fall into some of the hounds that I have.
Right on. So tell us about what they are. Are they pure blood? Are they crossbred? Are they line bred? Are they brothers, sisters? What are they?
Well, the line, they were into the blue ticks, and when I started fooling with hounds, the blue ticks that I'd hunted with never really impressed me. And I kind of stayed away from them for a little while. And I was into some plots that were doing pretty good for this area and what I liked. and I finally broke down. I'd had a bad season, and I went and just sat down and talked to him for a while. And I was like, "Man, what are you hunting? I see it's always looked the same, and it's either working really good for you, or you just really like it." And long story short, I tried some of what he had, and those sorry blue dogs just keep reproducing the type of dog that I like.
Yes, sir.
But they're family bred, fairly tight. It's mostly for the blue tick guys out there. There's a lot of Buzz Anderson in it, some of the old Smoky River, and then the bottom side of it's pretty much O.O. Grant.
Okay. So is there plot in there at all?
Well, what I have here at the house now is mostly a mix of plot and blue tick.
Okay.
I think I've got 4 purebred dogs, 3 blue ticks, and 1 purebred plot, and everything else is a cross.
Okay. Yeah, I was looking at your page and I was like, man, they're definitely got plot in them, but they ain't straight plot. Because I may be wrong, but I didn't notice just a whole lot of brindle in there. Is that right?
Yeah.
They're pretty solid black.
Yeah, the plots that I started with were your darker plots anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they had a little brindle trim, but when I crossed them on these blue ticks, and these blue ticks had a lot of black in them, and I guess just the way the genes lined up, most of the cross dogs come out solid black.
Yeah. Man, they're from some of the videos, they've got some mouth on them, and sounds like they're doing all the good.
Yeah, my style dog, I've been pleased with them. There's a lot of guys that, not everybody hunts the same kind of dog, but the type of dog I like, the cross there has consistently reproduced what I do like.
Gotcha. So your kind of landscape, tell us about it. Is it mountainous? Is it what crops? Like you said, you're a farmer, so I'm just curious. Are you hunting more of cropland, or is it mountain, or is it both?
Well, right here around the house is mostly farmland, but I only have to drive 10 minutes to be in some pretty rough mountains. I prefer the mountains, but I was born and raised on a dairy farm, and I do some beef farming now. And my wife's grandpa had a bunch of Christmas tree farms, or still has.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just grown up around farmers, and I know most of the farmers, and I get a ton of calls for bear and coon complaints. So I've never had an issue finding a place to run one. And I prefer the mountains, but majority of the time I'm in the farmland here.
Get in where you fit in. Where you gotta go where the game is, right?
That's right.
So, forgive me because I don't know anything about a bear or what they do. So, will a bear affect like a corn crop, or do they damage a lot of that stuff, or what's going on there?
Oh yeah, I'd say well, this training season, this one we just wrapped up, I bet 85% of the bear we ran were out of cornfields. And when the acorns aren't good or the hickory nuts aren't there, they're going to hammer that corn, and it almost looks like a helicopter landed or crashed into a cornfield when they get in it and they stay in it.
Yeah.
It's pretty impressive the amount of damage they can do in not much time.
That sounds familiar. That's how these pigs are over here where I'm at, and I'm sure if Joey's got corn around him, it's kind of similar. They'll kind of get out in the middle, and you won't know it from the exterior from the road, but then you could get in the middle and looks like, all hell broke loose.
Yeah, like a UFO.
Once it gets up, yeah, like they'll hit it hard whenever they plant it, and a lot of times you get calls like hey, they've taken 5 acres out in this one little corner. What can you do? Kind of deal, and you can run them off or shoot them or whatever, and then they'll reseed that corner or whatever it is, and then it seems like once it gets 6, 8 inches tall, they don't mess with it anymore for a minute, and then once it gets up, then they'll get in the middle of that sumbitch, and you won't even know they're there, and they'll just stay there,
Oh yeah,
Just camp out.
that's the
and
same
they'll
way
be
they do
just
here. Same thing, Ricky.
yeah. The only way you'll know over here is you'll just see a beat down path across the rock road, and you'll be like, I'll be damned. They're like, it'll be a mud path across the road, and untrained eye won't notice it, but you can you can damn sure see where they're coming in there and staying.
Right. Especially when you know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and we noticed that here recently, back in early August. I don't know what time of year y'all harvest, but over here, like, it seems like early August is when they'll go ahead and cut it down, and you'll right when that corn starts turning brown, you'll kind of go around and start looking, and it's not hard to see. Every little creek crossing or little bottom or little low spot, there'll be a muddy little foot trails across that sumbitch going in there.
Most of the time, you bear, they don't really mess with it till the corn starts milking.
Uh-huh.
When the ears are coming on, it's still real tender. That's usually when they'll hammer it. But like I say, when we don't have the mast in the woods, I mean, they'll just stay in it till it's chopped. And most guys just got done chopping here last week. So pretty much
When
the
you say
majority. Go ahead.
when you say chopping, are you talking about turning it into silage, or are you talking about what do you mean?
Yeah, when they're harvesting and silage, and then some guys they'll make earlage and it'll stay in there longer. But
Yeah, yeah.
most of you guys around me here, they're just chopping it for silage.
Okay, yeah. So like over here, they won't do silage unless they don't make out. Like, it's almost, if it's a shitty crop, then they'll just cut it up. But if they can, they'll harvest it actually
Okay.
get the ears of corn off of them. And like I said, I'm speaking layman, non-farmer terms. But when they have a shit crop, they'll go through and chop it up and silage, or they'll round bale it, and
Right.
they'll feed it out throughout the winter, and they'll just have all kinds of corn in the round bales, and that's another deal. You'll get calls on, well, they're in the round bales, and those pigs will just tear them apart from the inside out, and it'll look like a tornado went through the round bale pen.
Pigs sound like an awful lot of fun, but I would say that the farmers are pretty tickled that they're not here yet.
Oh, I bet.
Yes,
I can promise you that they.
they don't
That's
want
what
'em.
everybody says. It's like it's a blessing for a houndsman, but it's a curse for a farmer.
Right. Yeah, that's about how the bear are, and I I don't care to kill bear, which is
Yeah,
kind of odd for a bear hunter, but I'd much rather take my picture and my video and be able to run them again. But that
and run them
kind
out of
of yeah, but your farmers, I mean, when your corn's $1,000, $1,200 an acre to grow it,
Yep.
they don't like to see them still breathing, but that's a whole different ball game there.
Yeah, I can imagine. It's similar with the pigs over here. There's some guys that want to see a bloody tailgate, full of dead pigs, and then others kind of like, long as they're not seeing the damage, it's not that big of a deal. So whenever you're over there, are there some guys that have like, hey, if you hunt my property, you better kill them kind of deal?
Well, most of the guys are pretty understanding because I'm in I'm in an odd spot because we have a training season, but when kill season comes in, we can't use the hounds.
Tell us about
And
the seasons. I'm curious. I don't know anything about it.
so in Virginia, which a lot of it changed this year, but we have training season for bear hounds is usually the beginning of August to the end of September. And then kill season with hounds is usually the month of December.
So year to year it changes?
Well, it's been that way since about 2010. And then the past 7 or 8 years in Northern Virginia, they had a mange outbreak. And it's really taken a toll on your bear population up there. And so they've been doing some studies on it, this, that, and the other. And this year they came out and they changed some of the regulations. And the kill season up there where the mange has just flat wiped the bear out, I think they only have 1 week where they can kill them, which
Right.
I don't
be
hear
done.
them. Yeah, it should be done. I haven't heard many people fussing about that. They changed a few things down my way too, but the county I live in is kind of weird because I can run bear for 2 months with dogs, but when kill season comes in, you can't use them. And the only exception to that is Youth Day, which is coming up, I guess a little over a week. But when
So
kill
you
season
can't
comes in,
come kill season, they're just hunting them over bait or what?
no, which bait's legal in Virginia, and
Okay.
the county I'm in, we can't use hounds in kill season, so I'll just go to the national forest when kill season rolls around. But a lot of the farmers around me, they'll get damage permits for the corn,
Okay.
and depending on the warden, some of them will let you use dogs, some of them won't. But that's how some of them will handle it. They'll get somebody in there with dogs, and if we get one treat or whatever, they got a permit, and it's in their hands now. But like I say, that's been depending on which game warden is here at the time. So
Yeah. So can a I mean, you might have just said it, but I didn't hear it. But can you get like a nuisance permit for like stuff that's like that's a bear that's out of kill season, but he's destroying a crop?
yeah, the majority of the guys I know that have corn, I don't think any of them went without a kill permit this year, or a damage permit, if you will.
Yeah.
Just because of the amount of damage the bear has been doing. And the warden that's here now, I mean, he recognizes that, he understands it. It wasn't any issue, but I don't think they like to give a permit as soon as season starts, because we have a full bear season here. We just can't use dogs.
Well, we don't care about that bear season.
Yeah. I mean, if I can't use dogs, you can count me out. But
Yeah.
but it's
How
like I
long
said,
does that last?
well, I mean, the bear season here in my county pretty much runs with the deer season. So there'll be bow season, black powder, and then rifle. And when the rifle season for bear starts here, 2 weeks into that is when the hound season comes in the national forest. So that's where I'll be. That's when I'll take the hounds up there, and they're a little bigger mountains than I have here at the house, but it's still the same ball game.
Now I'm guessing you can't bait a whitetail either because it's the same, right? Like, I mean, they eat the same stuff generally, or no?
Right. I think because we had the CWD came in. They had a few confirmed cases 2 or 3 years ago. You used to be able to bait deer up until season started,
Gotcha.
but they outlawed that 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. But I mean, deer here are a nuisance. I've got a buddy from Texas that comes up to hunt with me in training season, and it just blows his mind the amount of deer we have.
Yeah.
I mean, they're thicker than, I don't even know what to compare them to, because they're just everywhere you look around here we have deer. And I tell everybody, if you're a deer hunter and you can't kill a buck around here, you better just find a different hobby.
Dang.
What's the limit on them? Is it like Alabama where it's one a day, or how's it work?
I think you can actually kill 2 a day here, 6 a season. And most of the time, you can get extra doe tags if you want them.
You said how many per season?
6.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Joey, y'all can just unlimited, like, or however many days a season there are.
Yeah, a couple hundred. Actually, season started yesterday, and you can kill a deer every single day until February 10th.
Really?
Wow.
Now we have a good population of deer. But what you just said blew my mind, because you said a guy from Texas said y'all had a lot of deer. And I've been all over Texas, and there's a lot of deer in Texas. And I mean, of course, I guess you're going to see more there because a lot of areas are more open. But my God, I couldn't imagine them being that thick. God almighty.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Quick thanks to the supporters of the Dixie Doggers podcast.
Lite Hounds.
Southern Cross Cut Gear.
Phil Wilson with UC Hunting Properties.
Rankin Ranch 38 Cattle Company.
777 Kennels Advanced Canine Nutrition.
And the old Boars N Broads.
Yeah, I mean, I just shut the tractor off. I've been bush hogging, but I mean, it's not uncommon to see 30, 40 does with, I don't know, 10, 15 bucks mixed in, just grazing in alfalfa or clover. I mean, just pasture land around here. They're big. They're a nuisance. we need a season like y'all have where we can just shoot one a day.
We had a better season than that about, 7 or 8 years ago. We could kill 2 a day every single day, a buck and a doe. Yeah, and now we went to the 3 buck rule. We can only kill three bucks per season. One has to have 4 points or better on one side, and then the other ones are, could be whatever. But if you kill a little old button buck or a small spike or something it's limited on the amount of antler visible, of course, you just claim it on your antler list. And we don't have tags. Number one, they run out of paper trying to give everybody tags.
Yeah.
But so what we do is now you just go on your phone and click on it and say, yeah, I shot this deer at this on private land, or, however you harvested the deer, and you put public or private. And if it's public, you put, where at or what county, and they send you a little confirmation number to give to your processor or to have for the game warden. That's it.
And where is that at? What state?
Alabama.
Okay. Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna recommend that to whoever's in charge here, that if they want to knock down this deer population, y'all need to adopt Alabama's.
Yeah, tell them to look into it, because that's one of the reasons why. Because back in the 70s, there were no deer here. 60s and 70s, there were no deer. They had to bring deer in. And then it was rampant. And of course, a lot of people are still setting those ways about don't shoot the does because they're going to have all the bucks. They don't want to kill does. Well, you got to, I promise you. We got a small lease, and I turn all my boys loose and their buddies and a couple of guys that they pitch in to help pay the lease. And I tell them, I'm like, y'all got to kill 5 does before you can shoot a buck.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got to knock out 5 does before you can even look at a buck. And then I want them to kill 25 apiece if they can. Yeah, you know what I mean? But some of them can't shoot worth a damn. But we're just now getting a few bear that people are seeing, and which I know we've had bear here, for however long, but we don't have a population. I can only imagine what's going to happen when we do. I know Joey's going to have some hounds. I know I'm going to have some bear hounds.
You probably bet.
I'm going bear hunting next week, actually.
Going Georgia or what?
Yep, going South Georgia. We're going to go down there and give them a run down there in the Okefenokee.
Okie dokie.
Oh, damn. So,
Fargo.
so Georgia can't. I mean, how far is that from you, Joey?
6.5, 7. Where we're going
Okay,
to, it's
that's good.
close to Florida.
Yeah,
It's
Albany. Right. I mean,
no, down there around Fargo. I don't know exactly where we're going to bear hunt. It'd be in that area. But do you know Cody Godwin? You know who Cody Godwin
yeah,
is?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, I've heard of.
All right. Well, the guy that got them started, the older gentleman, they're in their 80s. And we're going to go down and interview them and we're going to do an actual sit down, do full video podcast. And we're going to go
Oh
hunt with
yeah, you
them.
bet.
Dude, they killed it was 500 something pounds last week and a 300 the first day of season.
Ooh,
I was like, damn, I wish I could have went the first day. Which I
yeah,
don't
no
care about.
joke.
I don't want to kill a bear. I don't want to do that. I don't care nothing about that. I just
Be cool to see it though.
running the dogs and treeing them, especially down there in the flat land and the swamps. It's different than in the mountains. I've hunted in the mountains, and I love it. I love it in the big mountains. But I've treed one down there while we were hog hunting, and it was pretty wild. So I'm excited to go. Me and Nate's gonna go next week.
That'll be cool.
Yeah.
That sounds like a good time.
Oh yeah.
What's a big bear up there with you, Gus?
Um, Malcolm Horn, he killed one, which for National Forest, I mean, it was just an absolute giant. But he killed a 603. I think that was 4 years ago.
Wow.
And
But
I
that's
mean,
that's as big as they get. Like that's the next level, right?
I mean, you get into Eastern Virginia on some of like the deer leases and stuff, and they're right there on the state line. They've got peanut fields, this, that, and the other. I think the Virginia record is like 800 pounds, but I mean,
Wow.
that's just that's just a fat bear. It wasn't really, and it's big as something. I mean, if you get a 300-pound mountain bear, that's a big bear.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's pretty wild.
Where are the jumbos at? Is that like Maine or what? Where are the 800-pound, those ones you see that are just unreal?
Man, Pennsylvania surprises a lot of people.
Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Pennsylvania. I mean, Maine's got big bear, but I'd say probably down south or out west is probably your bigger frame as a whole.
Yeah.
It seems like, Georgia and like Hyde County, North Carolina, and all that. That's where everybody's going for the monsters.
Okay. I know I've heard some stories of I guess it might be Pennsylvania, and it's like, I mean, it's like a destination type black bear hunt. Like they're freaking huge.
I've heard about the coastal bears. Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah.
Are they talking about out like South Carolina or?
Your coastal ones, I think that's like the Hyde County. Down in
okay.
North Carolina.
So that's where you were talking about. Okay.
Yeah, I mean I think they average 550 plus down there.
Oh, damn.
I had a buddy of mine that went and he killed one out there. It was 672, I believe is what he said. They killed it on the ground. It never would tree. And dude, that thing it's just massive. The only ones I've seen in real life are like, 150 pounds. And that's plenty big for me. I'm happy with that.
A 150-pound bear is a whole lot stouter than you realize.
Yeah. They jumped that sumbitch out of the tree right on top of us and then went to whooping the dogs. And I mean, it's nothing like hog hunting. That's for sure. You can't grab him by the leg and say, "Come here, boy."
He ain't rolling him on his back like a turtle.
You can try, but I'd like to see the recording of it.
Well, that was the issue.
Be there.
Yeah. Well, I was with Cody Godwin and them, and he said, "Hey, because that's all I'd been talking about." And they had one treed. Some other boys did. It was on their hunting club, and he's like, "Come on, let's go in there and look at it." We go in there, and a little old young bear, they went to smacking on the tree, and he jumped out. And it was training season. And that son of a bitch boy, he bowed up on them dogs, and them dogs was wearing him out, And I don't know. I guess it's because I've never been around it, but I'm literally, like 2 foot from it, and I'm out there whooping and hollering like a teenage girl, having a ball. I mean, having a blast. Cody and them just laughed. They's like, "Damn, Pops, you really had a good time." I said, "Yeah." He said, "I thought you was gonna grab that bear." I said, "I was thinking about it, but then, like I guess the good Lord was like, hey, don't be stupid." I don't know what I would have done, but I was like overtaken by it. It was so exciting.
You'd be like a Jerry Clowers skit there. Shoot up in amongst us.
That's exactly right.
One of us has got to have some relief.
Ain't no doubt. But it's exciting. Have you ever got to go bear hunt, Ricky?
No, I've been talking to some boys out west, and they're like, come on, let's go. And my so it seems like they run lines from like February to throughout the summer and stuff, and then the bear stuff kind of starts when I get busy over here. They're hot and heavy on
Yeah.
them September, October, and I'm getting busy to run deer over here in October and September. I'm trying to elk hunt, but I'm gonna do it when I don't know how or when or where, but I'm gonna figure it out.
You want some advice?
Let's hear it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it. Well, I don't have a. Well, I say that there are bear within 2 hours of me in Oklahoma, but
Oh, yeah.
There is no hound hunting bears in Oklahoma.
Oh, yeah.
Trashy
But
hog dogs.
they are damn sure there. I can promise you. I've got a bunch of buddies that run deer leases in southeast Oklahoma, and they just seen one over here probably 45 minutes from me this past summer, and he was a mangy looking sumbitch, but I say he, I don't know what it was, but it was a skinny black bear in Texas down here, probably an hour and a half from where he should be, or where they're supposed to be. So it's a matter of time. And then also, and weirdest still ever, and I still don't understand it. Right here next door to me, where I grew up, a lady that I have gone and done like nuisance hog stuff on. They're in a neighborhood. It's a fancy neighborhood, but it touches this lake over here, and the lake is core land, which core land over here is no deer hunting. You can hunt pigs during the summer. It's got to be with a bow only. You kind of get the deal. Like it's kind of untouchable stuff. Well, she's got a picture, and I'll send it to you. I mean, to me, there's no ands, if, or buts, but it's a bear cub in the tree, and there's deer underneath at the feeder and in her backyard.
Mm.
And I swear, I mean, I'll get it and send it to you. You can tell me if I'm stupid or not. But the back hind leg is a dead giveaway to me of a of that sucker in a tree, and it's a cub. It's by itself, and that's the only picture that anybody's got of it that I know of around here. And I'm like, well, I mean, there's a cub. There's got to be a mama, right? And nobody has ever got a picture of anything else but this one cub in a tree. And this is, like I said, this is probably 2.5, 3 hours away from where they're at in Oklahoma, up around Atoka and McAllister and stuff around there. And it's kind of I'd assume it's probably pretty similar to y'all's kind of mountain country. I don't know the elevation and stuff, but it's they look like hills if you're in Colorado, but they're mountains if you're over here. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they're pretty similar.
So, boy, it might not be long. I mean, there's dang sure a steady population in southeast Oklahoma.
Right.
So it's not far.
Just as soon as that habitat runs out of food to support all of them, they got to go somewhere.
I know it. Well, unfortunately, the further south they go, the more population there is. So they'll probably run north or go into Arkansas or something. Because Texas is getting ridiculous over here where I'm at. unfortunately.
I thought everything was bigger in Texas. I thought you were going to tell me it was a 600-pounder sitting in that tree.
That sucker might have been 40 pounds.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's bigger, and then also bigger populations of Californians moving in over here.
I'll tell you what, you can have them. You can keep them all.
I know it. I keep talking about moving north into Oklahoma. We've at the fire department, we're going to a schedule in January that is 2 days on, 4 days off. And I told Mama, I was like, well, hell, we can move another hour away. Like we can be it's half like where I'm driving into work, half as much now. So that means I can get another half away, and she's like, well, how am I gonna make money in Madill, Oklahoma or whatever? I was like, I don't know, we'll figure it out. Like, well, let's get out of here. I mean, I'm close. It's either you go north or you go west. You can go west in Texas and you can get in the middle of absolute nowhere. Right here where I'm at is an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes north of Dallas. So you hear Dallas, I mean, I'm on 15 acres and I've got neighbors around, but I mean, they're not like right here on top of me. But within the last like 5 years, not even 5 years, probably the last 2 years, I can go out to the highway to get to work and I gotta wait to pull out on the highway now. I used to never have to do that. It's happening, man. I hate to see it. There's a lot of good hunting woods that I knew as a kid that are neighborhoods now, and it makes me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tough there.
What do you do?
Yeah, we got a lease down here. It's got a lot of public land that's all intertwined, and like it has a bunch of natural gas wells on it, and now I guess it's time to upgrade. So instead of on one pad pulling that well and putting a new one in, they just move down a little bit, and then they log about 10 acres out, clear that section, and then put a new pad. They're drilling and all this stuff, and they're putting in about 100 more. And dude, it literally, like you said, it just makes you sick. It's some of the best hunting, biggest hogs I've ever caught in my life are right there. It's a spot that I could just about guarantee you we're going to go catch a trophy style boar hog. And man, I can't even hardly get a race started now because the hogs are moved, But what do you do? Like I don't know what. And this is in the middle of nowhere. So if they're not building subdivisions, they're taking more and more land. I don't know why they need even more, but we're losing land all the time.
That's a fact. That is a fact. What's the population of you over there, Gus? Like how big's your town? Like what's the closest big town to you?
Well, we have one stoplight in the whole county.
I like it.
Yeah.
Well, at one point when they were working on the bridge on one of the main roads, we had two stoplights, but they took it down once they finished the bridge. Yeah. No, I'm about 45 minutes from any real big cities or anything, which it's nice because, well, me and another neighbor, we got stopped out here on my dirt road. And we sat there and talked for almost an hour the other day, and he said, man, this sure is nice. We haven't had another single car come up this road. And then, but if I drive 45 minutes, I mean, you get into the hustle and the bustle of the city life. But where I'm at, it's pretty laid back, pretty safe.
So I'm trying to get my bearings. I'm looking at Richmond. Where are you from there?
Man, I'm several hours from Richmond. If you see Blacksburg on there, Virginia Tech, I'm about 45 minutes southwest of Blacksburg.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know nothing about that country. I'm looking at the map, and then I can see where the mountains start. And yeah, Richmond's a little good ways to the east.
Yeah, Richmond's. I'm pretty sure there's been several songs, pretty popular songs wrote about Richmond here lately. But we don't.
I see Blacksburg.
Yeah, yeah. Blacksburg's about the closest. Well, Blacksburg and Roanoke are probably the two closest cities to me, I guess.
So the top of your mountains are like 4,000 foot elevation.
Yeah, in the threes. There's a couple that are right at 4, but 4 is probably the tallest you're going to find around here.
Gotcha. Y'all have so I had a fella send me a picture today of a big ass elk he tracked in Pennsylvania. Y'all have elk over there where you're at?
We've had a few within hour and a half of the house. There was I think it was a 5x5 was killed 2 or 3 years ago. And then in the furthest southwest tip of Virginia down there, there's a pretty good population of elk.
Okay.
But they do a draw on them every year.
Yeah.
I don't know
Limited draw.
Yeah, I don't know how much money that's raising for the game department and stuff, but I know there is a pile of people in there for it, and I think they were giving out like 6 or 8 tags. It was all.
Yeah. That's cool. I kind of I guess there's a pretty good herd there in Kentucky and then in Pennsylvania and golly, they're freaking huge from what I've seen, and I'm sure it's got more or less to do with them getting old enough and only having limited draw, stuff going on, so it lets them. Only so many are getting shot, so they're getting old and big. But that one he sent me, it was today. It was a deer tracker guy that found him, and I was like, that is ungodly big. Like, I mean, he's like, yeah, it's in Pennsylvania. I'm like, what? I had no clue.
Yeah, that's the wrong side of the country for elk, but
Yeah, it ain't no doubt.
Pennsylvania seems like a sleeper state, don't it?
yeah,
I
yeah,
think it
sure.
is.
Big bear. Hey, and whitetail. There's a lot of big whitetail deer come out of Pennsylvania.
I can hear all the Pennsylvanians right now.
Yeah, shut your mouth, boy.
Yeah, that's why I think we don't have anything big come out of Alabama. You know why?
Yeah,
Because they kill all of them at a year old. I mean,
kill them
spots and all, baby.
and make it 3 years old. It's a miracle over there.
Oh, dude. I love the bow. I love shooting a bow. And if you get you a deer that's a 5.5-year-old deer, like this dude, he ain't even got no hooves anymore. That's how old he looks. You know what I'm saying? He's got scars all over him, got one eye, no teeth. Well, it's rough. It's a rough life for a whitetail around here.
When you're hunting whitetails down there, are y'all using dogs? Are you stand hunting, or what do y'all do?
We believe it or not, this used to be a big place to run deer dogs, and we lost a lot of that. Well, some guys that hog hunt, and I hog hunted with them. They got in with a lobbyist, and the lobbyist was a cousin or some kind of branch kin to him. But anyway, they took them and a couple of other bigwigs out hunting in the national forest over here and showed them how their dogs work with these Garmin tracking systems, how they could make their dogs stop, tone them, turn around and come back, how they knew where their dogs were at all times. And guess what? We got deer dogging back for a big portion of the state.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. And that just took some people working together to make it happen, and we lose all the time. Dog hunters are always losing on the political side of things, of course.
Right.
Well, Florida, look at them. They got their bear stuff back. That's a huge win.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, as far as the deer hunting stuff goes, we stand hunt some, which I'm not a big time deer hunter. We shoot some deer, but my sons and them, they murder them. I might take one or two here and there with a bow, but anyway, I love to run dogs. So I've got some places that we can go run dogs, and all I do is tote a Garmin and some dogs.
Yeah.
And everybody else, they can do whatever they can shoot all the damn deer that we can jump, but I just like running them dogs. Y'all deer hunt, run dogs, and can y'all run them in Virginia?
I've only run them with dogs one time. Because you can only run them. Yeah, it is legal on the east. If you get up there towards Richmond, they can run deer dogs.
Okay.
There is a big battle going on right now because you're getting a lot of implants or, I mean, people from out of town are moving in, buying up land that's always been hound hunted. And they're raising Cain about it bona fide. And they're trying to outlaw it. And which the deer dogging here, I don't know how it's done there. The deer dogging and the bear dogging is so different. It ain't funny.
Oh, yeah.
But the anti-hunters, I mean, they're just grouping us all together right now. So it's a little bit of a mess because some of the bigger properties that were bought up out there, they're throwing a fit about dogs trespassing, this, that, and the other. But they don't quite hunt the same way that we run the bear. And it's raising a big stink, but I think we'll be able to pull through. Like I say, we got some good people that are arguing our case for us and trying to keep it to where we can still run, but we'll see how it all pans out.
It seems like we all get grouped together, and I don't mean that in a negative way, but it is different.
Right.
Like what Ricky does is totally different as far as blood tracking, and even the way he runs his hog dogs compared to the way I run them. And then what I do is completely different than the way that you do it. And I'm sure those guys in South Georgia running their bear hounds is different than the way that you're running them.
Right.
You know?
At the end of the day, we all got to have each other's back. But I don't know. I see a lot of squabbling between some of the deer doggers and the bear doggers and this, that, and the other, but we can't throw each other under the bus because I mean, we're all the low hanging fruit here on the tree, and they start plucking us, then I mean, they're not gonna stop, but
that's a fact.
Yep. 100%.
That is a fact. Well, like over by me, there's no running deer. The only time we can do it is tracking a wounded deer. So like anytime you see me with a deer, it's been shot before, and we're trailing it for a hunter that couldn't find it. Now, there's been, I think it was a thing in East Texas for back in the day, and there's about, I don't know exactly how many, but there's a handful of counties in East Texas up until just a few years ago that you still couldn't even track deer with dogs because they were afraid that you'd be running them. And now those counties, it's legal to track a deer on a leash with a dog. So like, yeah, I know, which is silly, but like 99% of the state is off lead, do what you can do. And, I think they're just thankful that they're allowed to even track them over there now because of the old blood. It's silly. I mean, it's crazy to me. I mean, to us, we're also not ignorant to the fact of how dogs work, but to a deer hunter, and we talk about this all the time. It's you'll let me come track a deer, but won't let me come run hogs after season, which is just asinine to me.
Yeah.
But they just can't understand. They just can't fathom dogs running loose and thinking they're going to run deer, and then you got the guys in East Texas that are trying to do folks a favor and find their wounded deer, and they're getting lumped into deer doggers, which, I mean, if anybody knows anything, it's still hunting. It's not like you're And you're not sitting in the box blind with the 30-06 and some little Debbies. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just as much work or way more. So yeah, there's still a handful of little counties in East Texas that you can only run the lead on, and then the rest of the state is off leash. You run them, and you can dispatch them as needed or whatever means necessary. So where I'm at, I'll never be in Texas. I'll never be in a county where I have to run on leash. But there in Oklahoma where I track, I do have to do that, and the rules up there are pretty ridiculous. But we're trying to work on it.
Yeah. I think it's funny the way everybody thinks, and it's kind of weird because it seems like it's more toward the deer dogging. They're like, it's just unfair, and it makes it so easy. I challenge anybody that sits in a box blind or a tree stand or any steel hunter that shoots that little 80-pound spike. Come shoot him in front of a pack of hounds running wide open.
You bet.
And you got is 20 feet when he crosses that road or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? That little open spot. Let's see how many you can squeeze off.
Busy.
It's funny.
I'd be so busy I couldn't shoot.
It's hilarious. But the thing about it is those guys that are out there doing that, they fold them up, son. There ain't no tracking. Like when they hit them, man, they fold them up. It blows my mind all the time. And now you take those same guys and put them in a shooting house or a box blind, and you're gonna have to go track the damn deer.
But that running shot, boy, free-handed, no sights on their gun, they're whacking.
That's right. It's crazy, man.
Yeah, I've never done it. I've never even been around any of that, but I plan to in the near future. I know it. I'm gonna do it. I gotta get freed up over here. We start season on the 28th, and I've ran 9 tracks.
Yeah, you've been busy already.
However many days, and
when season go out?
January? Mid-January. Yeah, mid-January.
What about y'all, Gus? How long's y'all season?
Well, here at the house, they extended it. Our season starts, you can shoot does with a rifle all the way through from beginning of September through the end of March.
Oh, damn.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
You definitely need a bigger bag limit.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I say, they'll give you extra doe tags if you apply for them.
You just got to ask for them.
Yeah. And we see all the farms around here have always got damage permits for deer. And it's nothing to kill. I don't know. When we were getting kill permits for deer, we were killing 100 to 120 in a 60-day time frame. And at the time, I was deer hunting a lot, and I thought, man, this is fun. And then you get into that second, third week, and I don't like to waste anything. So we'd skin them, quarter them, and put them on ice, and we'd give the meat away to anybody that would take it.
Yeah.
And you get into that third and fourth week of that, and man, it turns into a job, and I just, it broke me off deer hunting.
It's work, dude.
Yeah.
It is work. When I was guiding down there in South Texas, you might only kill a deer or two with your guys, and then you get to the meat locker, and those dudes are drunk on Jack Daniels and got money out the gills, and they're like, hey man, will you skin and quarter ours too? And I'm 19, and I'm like, well, fuck yeah, I'll skin them and quarter. $100 of deer, or some stupid shit, and they'd pay it, boy. I've spent many a late night cleaning, skinning, quartering. One night I ran a knife into my thigh and I had to go to the hospital, but luckily it didn't hit my femoral artery, which it was close enough that I don't know what was closer, my femoral artery or my nutsack, but it was not good. Luckily, it just hit the fat of my thigh, and I was like, man, I got done with that. I was like, I don't even want to look at a deer for a long time. Like, I don't give a shit about their veins. God almighty. Just work.
They're they're definitely work.
Yeah. But they eat good, so it
Oh
is
yeah.
what it is. So, so up there in Virginia, you've got how many dogs are you running on it? Like when you go and you say you're out, are you roading? Are you rigging? You got a handful of dogs down and then you dump the box? How's that work? How do you do it?
Well, everybody does it different. I like to walk hunt. I like to see where the sign is. I like to go where the dogs are at. And I like just having 1 to 4 dogs per track because I like mine to take a track as they come. If they can smell it, I want them to trail it. They need to drag the nose when they have to, and they need to pick that head up and run the catch just as soon as that track permits. But
But
I feel like you get more than 3 or 4 dogs per bear track, and you start getting your Me Too's and just your pack dogs. And
Mhm.
I don't really enjoy feeding a pack dog, but usually if I'm hunting national forest, I'll probably carry 6 or 8 dogs. But I'll rig or road dogs into an area that I want to walk into.
Yeah.
And then when I'm walking, like say, I'll try to limit. I mean, sometimes I just have 1 dog per track, and then like say, I've had as many as 6 or 7 dogs per race, but that's kind of a lot of dogs for me. I like, I'd rather have 2 or 3 dogs on this track, go find another one, 2 or 3 dogs on that one, and catch multiple bear than just have 6, 7, 8 dogs on one bear.
So
But
you'll save a couple dogs and then dump them on the next wherever you want to walk or rig.
right, yeah, that's the way I like to hunt. And like I say, most guys don't hunt the same way I do up here. Most guys hunt in groups and they're all rigging. And whenever somebody strikes a hot track, they all show up and everybody puts their dogs down together.
Mm-mm-mm.
Or,
So there's
or
no limit. You can run as many as you want.
yeah, in Virginia you can. And don't get me wrong. I mean, there's nothing that sounds better than
Oh, it'd
20,
be awesome.
20 bear dogs
Oh
coming
yeah.
across the top of the mountain. But
You bet.
I like being able to hear 2 or 3 and telling you what each one is doing and what they're saying and hearing the whole story and then just the whole roar, I guess.
Yeah. Will you ever say say you get a bear treed? Will you run pups into that tree? Will you pack them in and let them kind of get started like that?
Yeah, I'll maybe once or twice I'll walk pups into a tree or something, but most of the time, especially where I like to trail more than most guys, most of the time I can kick my pups in with an older trail dog, and I mean they get to figuring out pretty quick. Hey, this scent that they're smelling right here, it's exciting him. It should excite me. I
Yeah.
need all of this, and
Yeah.
usually, I mean, I don't know. The line of dogs I've been fooling with, they've all been pretty easy starters, and they start pretty early. And I'm just, I wouldn't call myself a trainer by any means. I think it's more my job just to put them in the right place and then let their instincts do the rest of it.
What do you say is an early start for a dog?
Um, 6 to 8 months, they're starting to contribute, and by a year, by 12, 14 months, I mean, you pretty well got an idea of what they're going to make by then.
When are you calling?
Um, it depends what it is. I don't tolerate an ill dog by any means. I got 2 little kids, and I mean, if I got one that's going to be ill around food or other dogs or people, I mean, they get one strike there, and then I'm going to find them a different home.
Yeah.
As far as like treeing and stuff, I'm pretty patient on the treeing if they're track minded.
Yeah.
well, two of my better trail dogs now, one of them, my female, I can remember her. She made 17 bear trees before she ever started to tree. And I mean, she was trailing, she was
She
jumping,
trailed.
she
Yeah.
was contributing. If it was on the ground, I mean, she loved it. But as soon as it would climb, she'd just sit there and stare at it. And I can remember the first time I walked into her treeing, I thought somebody else's dog had came into my race there. I was like, whose dog is that blowing the top out? And then I got there and I was like, well, that's why I didn't know who it was. I've never heard her do this before. But
Finally woke up.
Yeah. She's pretty easy to call now. I mean, you can hunt with that dog one time and know exactly what she's doing.
So what's once you get a bear jump, what's like a normal race? How far and like what's average? I mean, I'm sure there's bears that don't tree, but like what's an average bear do?
Man, 10 years ago around here, I could tell you where they were going to cross. I could tell you about how far they were going to run. If he was just a few seconds in front of the dogs crossing this road, he was going to tree on this mountain here. But I don't know. They're so different anymore. I mean, I have out of the corn, we've rigged the bear in the corn right here beside the house, and the bear refused to come out of the corn for 8 hours. I've had a bear that climb a tree just as soon as the dog stride. I mean, and it's different. Each bear is different. The longest race I know that we've had in the mountains, I had the best female I've ever had. She had 29 miles on her collar, and that was only when I had reception on her. And that was, I don't know, we struck that, well, it was a snow track. We jumped it probably an hour after daylight, and I walked into her probably 2 hours after dark.
Damn.
I mean, that was an all-day affair, up and down the mountain, up and down the mountain, up and down. And that bear, I didn't think we were ever going to tree him, but she finally ran it down.
That's something right there.
Is this the Stormy dog that you got?
No, Stormy's my top dog now. I had a female I called Ruby. She was a blue tick, and she was she was just a freak of nature. I'd heard stories about dogs like her, but until you actually see one, you just kind of brush it off. But at 5.5 months old, I didn't even have a tracking collar on her. I was just taking her to walk her through the woods. And she treated her first bear at 5.5 months old, and she never looked back. And she's just a freak of nature. She's the reason I'm still chasing that bloodline, and I know I'll never see another one like her, but you got to try anyway.
Oh,
That's
well,
something right there.
I've got a female right now, and I'll knock on wood. I don't even want to speak too soon, but last year, and she's out of my dog, my only dog that's ever done it. I've ran through a handful that wanted to do it but don't. And anyways, it's out of the brother of my dog, which is arguably better than my dog. And anyhow, got her and towards the end of deer season. I put her on a couple live deer, and first year it was kind of like you said, like I didn't, or well, actually both of them, I didn't have her on a collar. I just kind of was going to walk her in just to kind of see what was going on. And one of the other dogs had baited up, and walked her in, and she's kind of like nosing around, whatever. And, then it started barking a little bit, and it was I was like, oh, I mean, she's not scared. That's cool. And then, well, the next year we put her on, same thing. I was going to just walk her in on no collar. I didn't even think twice about it. And deer jumped, dogs ran. We'll get there, and she's bait solid, and she's 25 pounds, 5 months old, with the big dogs. And I honest to God, I forgot about her. I was going to the bay. I was all giddy and excited because the 1.5-year-old dog was doing it, And I get there and she's with him. I was like, well, some bitch. Well, she's like I said, same, not full, but similar bloodline as my hut dog. And I've been running her this season. We've only done like 8 deer now, but she's kind of showing some cool shit, and I don't want to freaking get my hopes up, but God, I'm like, please, like, I'll do some stupid shit if you'll do it. Like, she's kind of looks cool. She's got a cool color to her, and like I said, it's got my main dog's blood in her, and gosh, I hope she does it. I hope to not get my hopes up, but hoping is hoping, and I'm excited about it.
Hell yeah.
That's what keeps you coming back.
Know it. And I've got one other dog that I'm like, dude, you better fucking figure it out pretty quick because this little yellow bitch is coming in hot. And like, for me, it's like I don't need honestly, I think it's best just to run one dog with what I do.
Right.
Usually 2 dogs is too much pressure on these wounded deer. If they'll act accordingly and be nice, it's not a big deal. But usually they peel off each other, and one nips an ass, next one's on the ear, and then we're caught, and then we're just everything is getting wrecked out and stuff. So it's just generally speaking, you need one dog that can do it, and everybody will be happier and healthier, and it's all good. But and like I said, my older dog is a asshole when it comes to training, so he's absolutely worthless to me when it comes to training her. But I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, that young right there, that's good. That's good stuff.
How old is she now?
So she's like 14 months now, and so all I've done this year is I'll let Huck. He'll go find him, and then I'll put him up. Like I'll walk a whole different track, and I'll get him. He's OG. He's just like, get there, and I'm like, let's go. He'll pull the ass out of his mouth, and then walk to the truck. He knows the role, and then what I've been doing is calling up these other 2 dogs and then watching them. And I know the trail because I just watched the old dog do it. So I can just watch on the GPS, and I'll let them kind of follow up, which it's debatable on whether they're tracking him or the deer. But end of the day, like both those scents are on the trail. I get it, and it is what it is. But at least I can kind of see the demeanor and how they're going to act, and the first one, she kind of bebopped down. Second one, she ran down, which it was a 150-yard track. Wasn't nothing to it, but got her across the fence, and she didn't jog. She didn't walk. She sprinted to the deer. And I was like, okay. And then the other 2 days ago, which was one I was going to talk to you about, Joey.
Mm-hmm.
We had a deer gut shot, which is our bread and butter type deal, and it was from the night before. I got 2 tracks that day, and the other track, the boy called me before. So the way I do it is I will put tracks ahead of each other depending on how they need to be ran. So like, if a deer's a broke leg, I'm gonna go to him first, and I'm gonna let the gut shot sit because he needs time to get sit. So this deer, it was a shoulder shot, and then the other one was a gut shot. Well, we went to the shoulder shot first, and I knew it was bullshit, but we had to run it. It was a guy that I've ran for before, and it was a world-class type deer. And anyways, turned out about how I figured it would. And then we got to this track, and it was midday, and the humidity's not bad, but we had a real heavy dew that morning. Like, I mean, I was still drenched from that morning track till when we got there at noon. And by the time we got there at noon, it was dried up. And this is a gut shot. That's our bread and butter. And I couldn't get it squared away. And I was just like, are we really doing this right now, dude? Like you know what I mean? It was just, you expect more out of them. And, it's a gut shot. Like, I mean, there's no answer for buts. The arrow looked at the way he talked about it, everything was leading towards a liver gut shot. And he just flat out couldn't do it. And I mean, I'm up for failure. I sent him out there and post dried up dew scenario with no blood, but there's still gut sent to track. And anyways, couldn't do it. Well, I went back to the truck and I was like, hey man, I'm gonna just cover some ground and we'll see if we can win this sumbitch. Well, I let her out, put a collar on her, and I was just gonna let her run around. And sometimes another dog on the ground will light a fire under Huck's ass, and he'll he'll just start doing some, he'll just at the bare minimum, which is what I needed, was to cover ground. So I was like, he hits the ground, he's gonna go freaking really hunt hard, So we went out and did that. Well, she hit the ground, and the track, Huck made it about 400 yards on the trail. And, and kind of got us a line of where the deer went, but just like after 400, it was nothing. Well, she hit the ground and she ran down that 400-yard trail by herself with us sitting at the truck. And I was like, oh yeah, like she's whether, I don't give a shit if she's smelling Huck or if she's smelling the track and the deer. Like, she just went 400 down the exact trail that they went, and by herself without us holding her hand and stuff. And I don't know. I've got such low expectations for deer tracking dogs now. It's like anything will make me happy because it's. I mean, it really is. It's like it won't take much to get me excited because it's just such a. I don't know, and I don't know much else besides deer tracking. I'm just getting into hog dog and stuff, but God, it's a different animal, and I think some folks take it for granted, but. It ain't no joke, man. It can get weird. Like, you can take a fresh hot track on a dead deer and the neighbor's chihuahua can find it, but some of these ones have sat and the weather's changed and the people have pushed them. Like, it gets pretty weird. Like, I think Huck probably doesn't have as good a nose as he does Drain. So he's like, he's essentially half hound, half cur dog of sorts. And, not the coldest nose of all dogs, but he's got the brains. And I think that really carries him on some tracks.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like, I've got buddies out west that run more hounds because they're in the lower humidity, dry ground scenarios. And you got to have that nose out there. Over here, you don't need as much of a nose. You probably just need more brains than anything, because even on our worst days, the humidity's 30-40%. That's a bad day for us. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how humidity works for you.
That must be nice.
Yeah, that must be great.
Yeah. Yeah. So the guys out west, they're 15 to 20%, and and their dogs are doing it. But over here, it's like, yeah, you get below 40%, I'm questioning wait until nightfall, to get it up.
If it's below 40% here, there's no humidity.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's dry.
Yeah, 70 to 80% on average. Like, we have a lot of. I'm sure y'all have as much, if not more, out there, don't you, Gus?
It's I mean, this time of year it's down.
Yeah, it's down now, but I mean, like, what would you say the average for the whole year?
Probably 65, 70, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'd say, probably around 70 or so.
Our training season is in the worst time of year because that's the hottest and the most humid time. And I mean, if your dogs ain't in shape, that's just begging for heat stroke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was times in August that I wouldn't even run because it'd be 85 degrees and 98% humidity, but not raining. I mean, a dog can't sweat like we can, so they're just going to overheat.
Yep. It's
So
definitely tough.
What's y'all's thoughts on the humidity? Because, like, I hear out west, they want it to be as dry as possible, and that's better. Over here where I'm at, like, I want it to be as high as possible. I don't know. I mean, to me, I don't know that we get much days over 90%, but like 50 to 80, 90, like, we're finding that some bitch. Like, I don't know.
Yes.
I've just never had, I don't know any difference. So, like, what is y'all's? Is there a point where there's too much humidity?
Yeah, for me, there's been times. What about you, Gus?
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. And scent theory is just that, because
Yes.
they can smell what we can't see. So if they can't smell it, I don't get upset anymore like I used to, because
Now, do y'all play the thermals? Do y'all play the thermals out there?
Yeah.
Do y'all start hunting high?
Man, I can't tell you as good as some people. Usually in the morning you start high, work low, and then vice versa in the evening. But I don't know. I've seen, which I used to keep a pretty good journal on it, that temperature was this, humidity was this, barometric pressure was at this time of day. And we had one particular cornfield we were hunting, and there was bear in it every evening. And 4 evenings in a row, the farmer had called me and told me when he saw the bear come out, and they were all coming out of the same corner, going back into the timber. And 3 evenings in a row, we were able to trail a 3-hour track. It was high temperature, high humidity, but we could trail it. We got it jumped. We got a tree. Well, that 4th evening, it was an hour-old track. Everything was the same, and I had the same dogs, and they had no clue a bear had ever been there. And I mean, you can chase all that stuff, and you can speculate, and you can have all these theories, but an old timer told me the more he studied and the more he researched, the less he knew. And that's about where I'm at.
Listen, I really get it. You know, this summer was one of those points for me, because I've changed a lot of ways and breeds of dogs and styles of dogs I'm running, but the humidity, I literally seen it at 2 different places. One was in South Texas when we were down there with Case. We hunted that morning at 40%. It was 42% humidity, and you couldn't beat us off the hogs. Like, we smoked them. Well, that evening we went back and we were running, and you could tell the humidity had pulled out, and the humidity was down to around 12%. And we seen the hogs on camera, and then we seen the actual hog. And those dogs act like they could not pick up a track at all. Not just mine, but even Case's, and he lives there. So it was like the lower humidity like really whooped them bad. Well, then at here, you know, during the summer, it's 70 to 80% all the time. Well, we had a couple of nights. We hunted that iron dog tournament. I had 2 different nights. It should have been raining. It was like 91% humidity.
Oh, man.
I watched 16 head of hogs take off and run, and I had 2 dogs that were over 10 years old, and they wouldn't even take the track. Literally. And then, like you said, we came back a few hours later, went out there, caught them. So it was ridiculous. It was like when there was a lot of humidity, we needed to wait longer. We needed an older track.
Right. I wonder if that's just where the smell's sitting.
I don't,
like, is it 6 foot off the ground? Is it 6 inches off the ground?
Yeah.
Well, that's the only. That's a problem.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm with Gus on that. What the old timer said, like the more you try to figure it out, the worse it gets, because then we get so in depth in it. And now we're creating all these theories. It's like, okay, well, is the scent staying like a foot off the ground and a dog with his nose on the ground is working better, or a dog running with his head up, is it too low or too high? Hell, I don't know.
Depends on where you're at and what day of the week it is.
Yeah, it's like, is this damn dog gonna catch the hog or not? That's all I need to know.
You hold your mouth right.
And I think once we get to that part of life, we've been doing it so long now, it's like, look, man, they ain't hitting on nothing. Put them in a box. We'll go to the house.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
It's hard to do for me because it's like, I know that. I knew that deer was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, it's hard for me to leave. I had my boy with me. Otherwise, I'd probably have found it myself. But well, luckily, I called at the boy the next day, and I was like, "Hey, man, you care if I run over here and just check again?" Like cause I told him when I left, I said that deer's dead out here. I said there's just no scent, and he can't be mad at the dog because I'm once again, he's not some super cold nosed dog. I set him up for failure after that. It dried up, and it's whatever it was. I don't know what the humidity was, but below 50%, which could be a shit ton for everybody else. I don't know. All I know is my dog sucks, so we gotta be good. We gotta set things up,
Yeah.
So he was like, "All right, yeah, go out. Here's the gate code, blah blah blah." And I didn't set him down. It was 5 minutes, and he winded that son of a bitch from 300-400 yards or whatever it was away. I just kind of walked in a direction that deer went, and he tore ass, and then we had it found. And I was like, what? I mean, like,
did you have
it's weird to me that a wind scent can run 400 yards, but a track scent on the ground we couldn't do. It's weird.
Well, was there any wind blowing at all the day before the first time?
The day of, we got less than 100 yards from the deer the day before, but the wind was blowing over our shoulder towards the deer.
Oh, okay, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we never got downwind of the deer the day of the track. So, and then the next day it swapped. It was out of the north, and we came in from the south. So there you go. But it also probably smelt 19,000 times worse the next day than it did the day before. So I don't know. I try. It's like one of those deals. Like I've gotten, like you said, Gus, like I've gotten to where, and I haven't been doing it a terribly long time, but I've been doing it long enough. Like, I know if he can't smell it, then he can't smell it. It's not because he's a dumbass that day and doesn't want to do it. Like, he wants to do it. He just can't smell it. So, like, what are you going to do? You're going to be mad at the dog because he can't do what he does every other day of the week? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he does it 9 times out of 10, but this day I'm pissed off at him because I dropped him at noon when there's no damn scent on the ground and whatever it is, and it's and you gotta tell yourself, I gotta tell myself, like, dude, this dog's been doing it for 8 years. Like, it's not his fault. You're a dipshit, and you went and tracked a shoulder shot when you should have put him on the gut shot when the weather was right, And
I think you get to chasing the weather and the humidity and thermals. You just start overthinking it, and you're putting more pressure on yourself and the hound or the cur or whatever you're using, and you start to take the fun out of it when you're putting that much pressure and overthinking everything.
Yes, sir.
I agree, and with me, it's sometimes I can pick and choose when I go. Now here in a couple weeks, it won't make a shit. Like, we can go all day and night. We got some rain and it's cooled off. But it's usually last week of October on through the end of deer season, no issues. We can go whatever time of the day, and as long as I give the deer time to get sick, and he won't just blow our doors off. The scent conditions are there. It's always his first couple weeks, and I always say he's got knocked the damn rust out of his nose from sitting up dry for freaking 6 months, in the kennel and jacking around here at the house and not trailing anything. But it's hard to look past when the damn deer's dead in the woods,
That's understandable.
But enough about me. I want to hear some more. I want to hear some more bear dog. I want to hear about this Stormy dog.
She's the second best I've ever had. She's the last, which I tell everybody that I'm a plot man, and I really like my plots. But the type of dog that I like is getting harder to find in the plot breed as a whole. I feel like I know they're out there, but I've tried a bunch of them, and it's not hard to find a hotter nosed, gritty, fast plot. But like say, I like a cold track. I'll take a cold track over a hot track any day. And her and some of her offspring, I guess they're the last plots I've got into that will settle down and just work a bad track and just pound it out until it gets good.
So what's a cold track for you? Is it depending on the weather, or is it depending on time?
All the above.
Yeah, everything together.
One of the most impressive trail jobs I've ever seen her do was a few Decembers ago. Let's see, it'll be 3 years ago now. There was one area that I wanted to hunt opening day, but there was two big groups hunting in there. So I just left it alone. I went a few other places, and then the third day I came back and I went in there, and it had snowed. It had snowed the day before I went in there. So there was no snow the first day. The second day it snowed, and I went in there the third day. And I started walking in there, and I had her and two other dogs, and she struck and went to trailing, and there was no track on top of the snow, which it was just a skiff. I mean, it was probably a tenth of an inch maybe, but it was enough snow to cover most of the leaves. But long story short, she trailed 7 miles as the crow flies, and then she fell tree. She never jumped, never had a race or anything. And when I got into the tree, she was treeing, but there was no bear sitting in it. And there was a crack in the tree about 12, 14 foot up that was about 3 foot tall and about a foot wide. And I had a buddy with me, and he's looking at me because he'd walk to her, and she rarely misses. But he was looking at me like, what is wrong with this fool? I mean, she's slick as they come. I'm like, I don't think she's slick. So we'd put our dog leads together and kind of made a lasso so I could get up to the bottom branch on that tree, and I climbed up in there, and I got a video of it. But I looked down in the crack there, and there was a bear asleep in that hollow tree. And there was still no track in the snow at the base of the tree. So that bear had to have walked at least a day before. But I know that there were guys hunting all in there for the first 2 days. So I don't really know how old it was, but I know it was old enough that nothing else I had that day could touch it. And I guess the guys that were hunting there the day before couldn't touch it either. I don't know, but
it's old enough to say she's a bad bitch.
Yeah, yeah, she's been accused of that several times. But
What do you do with a bear like that?
that one ended up waking up, and we were looking at it, or I was looking at it in the hole, and I had a video of it, and I sent it down to my buddy. He's like, "Man, that's a little thing." And she
Wadded up in there, maybe.
she went to tree and I mean just blowing the top out of the tree, and eventually it woke up and it started out, and when it came out of that crack, that joker just kept growing. And it was probably a 250, 275 sow, and we ended up my buddy had carried some puppies in, and we reran it a couple times and let it be, but it was a whole lot bigger coming out of that hole than it looked when we were looking down in it.
I bet. I can only imagine.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. First off, my hats off to you for checking that. Most guys would have just, like you said, they would have called it slick. They wouldn't have had that much faith in their dog. That's really knowing your dog.
Well, At that point, she was, let's see, she was 5 at that point. And she started early too. She started at 6 months. And, I mean, I ain't bragging on me or anything, but she caught her 500th bear this year in training season.
What?
And she's raised 3 litters for me. She's had her TCL rebuilt. I don't know how many stitches, staples, drain tubes she's had. And then her 505th bear this year, she lost an eye. So she's
This is your second best dog.
yeah. That ruby female I had, she died at 2 years old, but I saw her walk the dog on my Stormy dog. I don't know how many times. I mean, she just made her look slow and sorry.
Now, did she get killed on the hunt or what?
She lost. Well, she didn't lose her leg. She got busted up by a bear, and the leg, I got it fixed, and then she had a steel rod in it that ended up the way that the leg was broke. It was a big spiral fracture, and it was in 5 fragments on her femur. And it worked. The rod worked itself out, and then the leg got infected. Long story short, she was running bear on 3 legs for a while after we amputated it, and then she ended up dying of a heat stroke. And she was a little over 2 years old. But she was still catching bear, and she was catching bear on 3 legs that a lot of 4-legged dogs couldn't even touch. But
she was only 2 years old.
Why is it those dogs? Why is it always those dogs?
It is every time, man. It's every time.
Oh yeah. I had another old timer tell me, instead, as soon as you find a good one, you better look for another, because that good one ain't gonna be here long enough.
That makes me sick.
Yeah,
I hate thinking of that.
I do too. I got 2 right now, and it just. And I honestly, I've been keeping them hemmed up, because I'm like, dude, it's gonna happen. Shit, I don't want to do this, and I don't know.
You can't not let them roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've several of the old timers have been fussing at me, saying I need to retire my Stormy dog, and I agree with them, but she doesn't agree, and that's been the problem. But the last 2 times she was pregnant, I probably shouldn't be admitting this on air, but she's escaped the kennel within the last week of the pregnancy, the last 2 times, and went and found a bear. Two years ago, a farmer called me because she had one baited up on the edge of his cornfield, and then and I mean, she had a dang watermelon hanging off of her belly.
Oh my God.
Then this last time she was gone, I had never been so sick in my life. She was gone for 2 days, and finally I had somebody call me and said they thought they heard a dog treat. And I don't know how long she had been there, but I looked for the hussy for 2 days before I found her, and she was sitting under a bear. So.
Oh my God.
I've had a couple dogs that, they got old, and they were fine with me retiring them just on the porch, and they'd hang around the yard, hang around the farm here. But
he ain't gonna be that dog, dude.
No, I have
not when you live in Bearwoods. I mean, shit.
No, and I have to keep a snap on her kennel door, because I'll send you a video later. But that hussy, she can open her own door. She gets out. She'll be sitting on top of the box, sleep on top of the box. She's ready to go hunting right now, all the time.
Gosh, damn, that's so bad.
How fast? What kind of speed do you get out of those dogs on track when they're running? Or do you ever really pay attention to it? Or
I haven't really paid attention to it. I know a lot of guys around here, they're all about the speed. And I've I've never paid as much attention to the speed as I have the nose and just
Yeah.
the drive.
That-
But Stormy and several of her offspring and that Ruby dog, and I've had several that I've hunted them besides some really fast dogs, and I hadn't seen any difference in the speed. But I
Gotcha.
don't know. I haven't watched the Garmin to see. Besides when I'm just riding them to exercise them,
Mm-hmm.
I usually don't pay attention to the speed part. But
That's something we just started looking at here in the past year or two. Kind of, like I said, we swapped up styles of dogs too. We got some, like running walkers and stuff. And
right,
just trying to see what the actual speed is of them versus like some of the cur dogs we have, and I was just curious because I've heard people talk about treeing hounds and how fast some of those are. But me, I'm like you. I don't care how fast it can run as long as it's accurate. Now, having speed is great, but I think if a dog's accurate, the speed will come anyway.
Yeah.
And
I have seen the speed kind of bite some guys too, because they'll get a bunch of speed demons in there and they just keep punching that bear and don't ever give it time to think about climbing.
Yep.
And I almost think that a medium average speed dog that kind of paces himself and that bear isn't as stressed, I mean, he'll sit down and realize, yeah, he's chasing me. He's not going to stop. I'm just going to go ahead and climb this tree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think if you've got too much speed and no grit to go with it, that's when you get into those bear that just never stop running, it seems like. And that's just my opinion, but
no, it makes perfect sense to me. Like I said, I was just curious on that.
Those guys will tell you the same thing about pigs. I mean, from what I've gathered over here, you'll have and it's always the argument on what dog does what and what breed of dog does what. But it's, well, by God, if he bit him on the ass and turned around, he just stopped running. But I'm like, also, if he stopped biting him on the face while he was spayed, they wouldn't take off running again. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Go ahead. I don't know. I mean, I used to think that the more grit the dogs had, and if you just put a bunch of piranhas on them, that they're going to climb quicker. But I mean, some bear, I'm sure hogs are the same way, but some bear just ain't going to tree. It doesn't matter how much pressure you do or don't put on them. Some of them, I mean, they're just either they're a runner or they're a fighter, and they're never going to consider stopping and climbing.
That's exactly right.
That's exactly right. And it's even the case with deer. I know it sounds silly, but like some of these deer will run, and some of them will just right there in their bed and they're ready to bait, or they're bait up and they're ready to fight. And I mean, I've always, I always say that a deer that stops with a dog is going to be a mortally wounded deer. Like a unmortally wounded deer will not stop for a dog. But I've seen other times where it's like an injury where I was kind of like, man, I don't know if that would have killed him or not per se. But turns out that deer's a fighter and he's not a runner. And we could be in that.
He just thought it was Ali.
Yeah, there was one. It's probably 2 years ago, and it was one of these big mature deer, and it was shot in the neck, and it could have hit the airway. I don't know. I don't do a damn biopsy of them when I'm done, but it was one of those deals where I was like, was he just think he was a bad son bitch, or was he, on his deathbed and couldn't run? It's kind of hard to say. I would lean on the side of 90% of them that get away from a dog, or because they're one, you got on them too soon, or two, they're not mortally wounded. And any deer that stops is going to be mortally wounded. But I've had one or two here and there that's kind of like, man, now could the deer die 2 weeks later from infection and all that stuff? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely possible. But there was one specific one, and the dog that I've got, he's done gotten hooked, which I say he's loose. But in the last year, he's well, this deer, he broke bait 4 times, and I was trying to get on him and get the finishing shot. Well, the fourth time he grabbed him by the ass, and I guess he said, "I'm done with this so much running." And he got hooked up in his groin and kind of eviscerated the stomach, but didn't cut the skin. So like he had intestine up in his leg, like his flank.
Right.
But it didn't break the exterior skin, so it broke the stomach sac, but didn't break the skin of the outside.
Mm.
And I'm like, you're old enough to not do stupid shit like that. But I guess he was just annoyed with running him for so long. He finally just caught him, and, it was like, and he's known to be a super loose bay dog. Like he's known, hell, he'll sit back 20 yards and just bark and never put any pressure on him. But this fucker kept breaking and breaking and breaking. I guess he got tired of it. But it was luckily it didn't break the skin and it didn't break the bowel. So we pushed the intestine back in his little stomach liner, and it was such a small hole that it healed up on its own. So we got pretty lucky. But it was funny. I would have never, ever, ever guessed he would have done that. He usually just sits back and makes ruckus and kind of keeps their eyes on him while I slip in and finish him off, kind of deal.
Mm. That's pretty cool.
How old is that Stormy dog now?
Stormy is, and they get old quick. I'm thinking she's 8.
Yeah, that's how old my Huck dog is. Eight
Pretty
and a
sure
half,
she's
something
8.
like that.
Yeah.
So how many dogs do you keep at the house?
Too many.
Story of it all.
No, I keep about a dozen, and then I'll have a litter here and there that I'll try to start and go through and hopefully keep one or two out of that make pretty good dogs to replace some of the old ones.
Yeah. Oh,
If you ask my wife, way too many. But
oh yeah, shit. Don't ask my wife. I've only got 9, and you'd think we'd have 45 out here.
yeah, yeah. If you ask my little girl, not enough. But
Uh-huh.
yeah,
That's a fact. How many kids you got?
I got a little boy and a little girl.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got 2 little boys, and I have to trade them off on when we go tracking. So Saturday I took the older one. Sunday I took the younger one, and of course the older one's he's 4. He's a big 4-year-old, and he can get around pretty good. So I don't, he's probably 10 yards behind me at all times. But the little one,
Right.
hell, he takes 5 feet and he's falling on his face in briars and shit, and it's a struggle. We went yesterday, and I'm like, dude, it was we thought it was a dead deer. I mean, I thought it was like a gravy track. Like I was gonna let Huck find it, pull him out, got the kiddo with me. It'll be a good picture deal, all the things. And Huck went over there, and it was funny. Is I was on the guy. He's like, "Yeah, I didn't get a pass through. I shot him with the crossbow, this, that, and the other." And I was like, "Man, you probably got a pass through for the way you're talking." And like, you think? I was like, "Yeah." Well, Huck went, 40 yards behind shot site, and he's taking a shit, but he's taking a shit and he's pissing at the same time, and his nose is down at the same time.
Hmm.
And I'm kind of giggling because I'm like, he's like, what is he? I was like, let him empty out. He'll roll out. Well, I went over there, and of course he took a shit and pissed right by the arrow, right? And his nose was on the arrow. He was shitting, got that done, and then he ran from there because it was almost like he knew. He's like, I got to empty out because this is about to be a race. And
it's about to be on.
Yeah, it's about to be on. And sure enough, he was like 30 seconds on the trail, and he'll kind of squawk when he jumps one occasionally, especially if it's like if he hadn't seen a live deer in a few days, or it's, the early season, he'll make a quack, 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 and then, he'll shut up until he gets him stopped. But, this deer is right on the border of Texas and Oklahoma. Like, gosh damn. Well, he squawks, and I looked at the little boy, and I looked at it's two of my buddies. We were on a lease, and I was like, boys, y'all got little Bo? And they're like, we got him. And I was like, all right. So I tore ass, and I'm watching the Garmin, and hell, he's going for Oklahoma. Like, you can, on the map, you can see, it's woods, sand, river, sand, woods. And he's in the sand, and I'm like, shit, here we go. Well, I'm thinking I'm going to have to get to the river. So the Red River by me is like, it could be ankle, it could be waist, but it's really not very deep river where I'm at. It's flowing, but it's super sandy, weird. It's weird. It's like there's quicksand in spots. It's a weird critter, and it's maybe a mile wide. So, but like 3/4 of the half a mile will be sand, and there's only a little part of water. Just depends on what time of the year and what kind of rain we got.
Right.
So I'm thinking I got to get to the river and get a follow up on this deer before he gets to Oklahoma. Because we don't know. I thought he was a dead deer, and we're here. Here we are racing him. So I got the hauling ass down there, and Huck turned him when he got to the river. I guess the deer said, I ain't swimming, I'd rather run. And he came back towards us and cut him down. And I got there, and he basically ran him to death. And it was one of those weird anomaly type tracks where the deer is, I mean, as far as I could tell, looked like he was double lung, which in anybody's terms sounds crazy, but he crazier shit. And I mean, he had a broadhead through right behind the leg on one side and through the leg on the opposite side. So you tell me. I mean, it was one of those deals. It was weird, but it was. Bobo didn't make it through the thick stuff to the Red River where I ended up. But thank God they brought him to me after we got him shut down. So it's cool bringing them, but it's like, gosh damn, there's no way you can make it through some of that stuff. I can imagine hiking up the mountains with a kiddo on your back or whatever it is.
He's probably too big for a backpack.
Mine was fit. So the little one, I've got a big backpack that I take elk on, and he'll stand up in the back of it. If I just open up the bag, he'll stand in it and hold on to my shoulders. Like, it's doable. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, he's 40 pounds, and my older boy's 50 pounds. There's just,
starting to be a good workout there, huh?
Yeah. I think we're a few years away from him, holding the Garmin and me just sitting at the truck. I don't know. We'll see.
Man, just keep at it. They'll get there. Then next thing you know, you can just kick back, like you said, and be like, go ahead and go do this. I'll be honest with you, when they get to that part, it's worse.
Is it?
Man, ever since I've been like Nate, like 14, 15 years old, I was like, okay, you can just be the hunt master. You run the hunt. And we had a big hunt. We were guiding out of a lodge over in Mississippi and all this stuff. And I was like, he's put in he's paid his dues and blah, blah, blah. Well, all I did was create a monster.
A monster.
Because he knows way more than I do, of course. And, it's like pretty much just let me do it the way I want to do it. Like, okay, buddy, go ahead. And then when it doesn't work, he's like, why didn't you just do this? I'm like, well, you wanted to do it. And I just give him a hard time, that. But I've seen some guys that had youngins, man, that were 10, 12 years old, and they were actually better houndsmen than a lot of grown-ups I've seen. That's for real.
Yeah.
That's for real. We talked
That's
to a
my
young man
goal.
the other night he's 17 now, and I've been knowing him for a couple of years. Kevin Brooks' son, and that boy, he's like fourth generation, just hog dogs. He knows dogs. Like he knows,
Bullshit.
like he knows what the deal is, and he's a worker. He will go to them. I think it's cool to have, I wasn't raised in it like that. I
wasn't either.
I had dogs, but I wasn't into the running of hog dogs or anything. We had beagles, and we had some, I always had a good squirrel dog and coon dog. We had tree dogs, but other than that was it. It's a whole different world. I think it would have been cool to have been raised in it, I guess.
Oh, damn sure wasn't. I think I went on a coon dog hunt when I was probably middle school. And honestly, it was such a freaking disaster that it wasn't something that stuck with me. Like, I want to do this. Like, it was bullshit. It was a shit show, I never even really thought about it when I got into running dogs. But I remember it like it was yesterday, though. I really do. We put a coon in a tree in the back of somebody's backyard, and the old man came out there and thought he was going to shoot us.
Those are always the best, the old hunting stories. I bet Gus has got a bunch of them.
You don't forget those, yeah.
Tell us a good story, Gus. I want to hear a good bear story.
And how many game wardens listen to your podcast?
No.
Well, you gotta just, as long as it's 4 years ago, it's okay.
Is there a statute of limitations here?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
I got a handful, but I haven't told yet, but I can't wait till I can.
Yeah, I probably need to tread lightly. Some of these stories might implicate me or somebody else.
You can just be a little broad with the brush there.
I had a buddy that hunted with me. Man, he was my truck man. 6, 8 years. I mean, we were hunting pretty hard, and we had a bear. We thought we had him treed, and can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you now.
My AirPods just died on me.
You sound better now than you did.
Really? Do I sound a little uglier?
No, you're still the same ugly, brother.
Okay. Me and my buddy, we've been running this bear all evening, and they finally got him stopped. And I thought they were treed, but he drops me off, and it was about 9/10 of a mile into where they were at. And he dropped me at the top of the mountain, and I was going to go to him, then he's going to pick me up at the bottom so I didn't have to pull back up. And when I get into him, it's a nasty holler, just nothing but laurels and rocks. And my light was dying on me. We started in the daylight, ended up getting him caught after dark. And I had a radio with me, but I was right on the edge of reception. And so he could kind of hear what I was saying. I could kind of hear what he was saying. And long story short, I get in there to him, and it's just nothing but tunnels and these laurels. And I'm crawling through these tunnels, and the Garmin says they're 80 yards. I mean, barking 80 barks a minute. They're trees. They're 40 yards. And I'm crawling up through here, and I'm to the point where my light is on the lowest setting because it's about to die. He's checking in on me on the radio, and we can barely hear each other. And I'm close enough that I can hear the dog's jaws slamming shut as they're barking, and it says they're treed, but I'm in this laurel tunnel just looking up, and all I can see is a black hole that goes on forever. And about the time I thought what was going on. The bear turned around and looked at me because I wasn't looking at a black hole that went on forever. He was sitting down in the tunnel about 10 feet in front of me. There was one way in, one way out. I was in the way. He runs right over top of me. The dogs run over top of me, and I got one of them by the tail and one of them by the antenna on his collar there. And he's hollering at me on the radio. I'm trying to holler back. I said, the bear ran over me. I'm good. Well, all he heard was the bear got me.
Oh.
So he comes flying back up to the top of the mountain. He starts in there to me, and ended up my radio died. I come out at the bottom of the mountain. He's not there, and it was just it was a big cluster all the way around. But when we finally got it sorted out and laughed about it for about 10 minutes, I had a pretty good bruise on my shoulder where that joker laid his head just right into me. But and the area that we were in, nobody likes to go in there just because it's so rough. So that just
The old timer told you better.
yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty tough there. That's the only issue I've worried about with them bears is like, man, what if they do get me?
Well, they have a distinct stare if they're coming to get you. It looks like the devil himself.
You're the one.
Inside that skull. Yeah. Those ears pin back and they stare a hole right through your soul, and that's when they're not bluffing. If they come with their head down, they're just trying to get away. But if they're staring that hole through you with the ears pinned back and they come with their mouth open, you better be doing something about it.
That sounds like my first wife. Plaintiff number one.
Same.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Oh, that's awesome, man.
Yeah, that's good. That's good stuff, man. Let's see what we're like on time.
We're getting there, man.
We're a couple
I
hours
appreciate you talking to us, Gus. That was cool as shit. I want to get you back on and hear some more stories. I know you got a bunch of them. I get to where I'm talking and I'm like, I need to shut up and listen because I know you probably done more than I have, and you got some way cooler stories that I don't. To me, it's cool because it's out of my spectrum. Like I have no idea what your world is over there. So I just like to hear the difference in everything. So it's cool, and I appreciate you coming on, man.
Well, I appreciate y'all having me. Like I told you over text, you're kind of scraping the bottom here, getting me.
Nah, shit, no.
Man.
You got a dog that's found 500 bears. I think we're right on the top, brother.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's your second best.
Yeah, that ain't even the good dog. Oh, Lord. Shit.
She does a pretty good job. She's consistent.
So she's got 4 legs but 1 eye right now?
Yeah, she's missing about 2 inches off her tail and missing an eyeball.
Oh, the stories will be told about that dog, man. That's so cool. I love to hear about it.
Yeah, it's a good thing she can't talk because the trouble I had with her when she was a pup. When she was first starting, her nose was better than anything else I was hunting at the time.
Dude, that's so wild to me. Like I just can't even fathom that. Like I've had buddies that got like I call them naturals, like just natural dogs.
Yeah.
And like to have what I have, I just can't even freaking fathom it. I can't wait for that day. I hope to God there's that day that I have where I have one of those type dogs where it's you thought you had a good dog and then this bitch shows up at 5 months and you're like, holy shit. Like, do I think I have a really great dog now? Yes. I don't know. It would blow my mind for something to top it. So I pray that that's a possibility someday.
Well, that's what that's what keeps you coming back, is knowing that there's a possibility there's something better.
That's just wild. That's wild to me.
And I think at this point, drugs would have been a lot cheaper.
You'd be uglier, but yeah, it'd be cheaper.
I think it'd be cheaper.
Oh, speaking of that, you're how close are you to the Watts of West Virginia?
Bro, Sue Bob is in L.A. now. You know,
Sue Bob, are you?
Yeah, she's in L.A. with her daughter, man, with Ainsley. Yeah.
They got my baby.
CPS took her baby to Fiestas and some tacos. She's doing call out, dude. I swear to God, I follow her.
You would.
I swear, dude. I had a fucking bull. I had a bull terrier named Sue Bob. Everybody was like, "Why did you name that dog Sue Bob?" I was like, "You don't know nothing." And then
they got her baby.
Hey, those yellow dogs I got from Russell Holiday, they were named Durkee, Jesco, Mamie. Oh.
Oh,
They were rough. They were rough.
They were rough. They like drugs. But they rough.
Mm-hmm. Wow,
that's good shit.
Yes, sir.
All right, Gus, we'll let you off here, brother. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, man, I enjoyed it and appreciate the invite.
Yeah, we'll have you back on. I want to hear some more stories.
Well, I'll have to filter through them and screen.
Yeah, you gotta do what you can do. We'll wait. Every year you'll get a few more stories.
That's right. We hope.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you later.
Come up.
All right, see.
Hope you enjoyed that episode. If there's anything or anyone you'd like to hear on the podcast, or if you'd like to come hunt with us, don't hesitate to contact us at dixiedoggers01@gmail.com.